thank everybody for coming out to support the family. Just want to remind you guys that there's water everywhere. We know it's hot today, and we really appreciate you all coming out. It means a lot. We'd like to begin by, I want to introduce Keith Raley, Peyton's grandfather, and he would like to say a few words to you all. Keith?
Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, my name is Keith Raley. Peyton is my grandson. I would like to thank everyone for being here with us today to support our family. Also, I would like to thank everyone who wanted to be here but couldn't. All of your love, prayers, kindness, and support are appreciated as we try to navigate through this nightmare. You might notice that I'm wearing my Baltimore Orioles shirt today and hat. I'm wearing this today because on Saturdays, the Orioles wear their orange jerseys. I should be going to the ballpark today with Peyton to watch the Orioles game. But instead, we are here seeking justice for Peyton. We are asking the state's attorney to please do the right thing. We cannot bring Peyton back. This itself is heartbreaking for my family, but the thought of no justice being served is just unbearable. Thank you again, everyone, for coming out today. Please be safe and peace be with you. Rest in peace, Peyton. Love Grandma and Granddad. Justice!
Thank you, Keith. Again, my name is David Cullison.
Louder.
My name is David Cullison.
Yes. Thank you.
And I'm one of Peyton's many cousins. And again, we want to thank each and every one of you for coming out here today to support Peyton and the family. Words cannot express the gratitude we feel for the outpouring of love and support that your presence provides. And now I'd like to tell you a little bit about young Peyton Alexander Ham, also known as Peyton and Buddy. He was only 16, but he had a huge impact on so many, and his loss leaves such a void. He was the light and center of this family. He loved spending time with his siblings, his Aunt Kelly and other aunts, his parents, his grandparents. He was their pride and joy, as you could see. And Peyton definitely got his mom's personality. Her inner strength, that quick wit, that sense of humor, but also empathy and playfulness, and the ability to make people laugh. And he was a typical teenager that liked to eat. And we're not talking ramen noodles here, we're talking steak and lobster. And not only did he love to eat, he also loved to cook. He was quite the chef. And he loved to sleep in. He loved swimming and playing jokes with his friends. Styling his hair. Remember everybody's favorite, the man bun? And he was a baseball enthusiast, a passion fueled by his granddad, Keith. And he loved the Baltimore Orioles, which is pretty hard right now. But he was loyal like that. And deep down, Peyton was also kind of an old soul. He gravitated towards adults at gatherings, and he enjoyed long conversations with his favorite grown-ups. And he was fortunate to have a family that loved spending time together. Countless games were played, movies watched, amazing vacations taken. There were many golf tournaments, baseball games, family dinners, Taco Tuesdays, swimming pool fun, holidays, and special events, all celebrated together. And Peyton was also an honor student who excelled in the rigorous advanced curriculum of the College Prep Academy. He planned to attend college, then law school, and then serve in the Maryland legislature because he was extremely passionate about politics. He was accepted into St. Mary's County Public Schools' Global International Studies program and was quite the history buff. He studied many genres, including European history, ancient monarchies, World Wars I and II, and the rise and fall of the former USSR. And he also loved the school's mock trial team, and he was selected as the coveted prosecutor for one of the team's major cases. Some of his friends and classmates described him this way: clever, bright and quick-witted, with quite a quirky, unique sense of humor, a friend to all. They also described him as bold, outgoing, caring, smart, vibrant, kind, loyal, a unique and amazing person. One said his crazy personality and gifts always brightened everyone's lives. And the family will treasure having had 16 great years with Peyton. Those treasured years are a direct result of all the love poured into him in that time. So it's no wonder that he turned out to be such a wonderful young man. And we thank you again for being here today and helping our family through this painful and difficult time. It's especially difficult because his was a life so new, so fresh, so full of promise, and so full of love. Many have lived longer than Peyton Ham, but no one has lived who was more loved than him. And one thing we should all take away from this tragic incident is that none of us are guaranteed another minute on this earth. So let's strive to face every day with a sense of gratitude. And if you love somebody, tell them. And if you can help somebody, help them. We've got to lean on each other in times like this. And Jesus himself said that in this world we'll have trouble, but to fear not, because he has overcome the world. So this family holds no animosity. We continue to be a family of faith, faith in God, faith in the justice system, faith in law enforcement, faith in our elected officials. But it's been 3 months, and it's time for answers, because the wait is excruciating, and there will be no rest, no relief from the pain, anxiety, and grief until those answers are received. And God bless you all. And now I'd like to invite up some of Peyton's friends and classmates from the Global International Studies program. Some of them have graciously agreed to say a few words about Peyton, so guys, please come up. They also have representatives from that mock trial team that we talked about, so thank you all for being here. And what's your name, young lady? Gabby. Gabby? Talk right into it, Gabby, or they'll yell at you.
Talk loud, Gabby.
Hi. Thank you for attending the Justice for Peyton rally. My friends and I stand here today to share some of our favorite memories of Peyton with you. All of us, Peyton included, are students enrolled in the Global and International Studies Academy at Leonardtown High School, class of 2023. GIS gave us all an opportunity to connect as more than classmates, and if it hadn't been for this program, I wouldn't have been able to have called Peyton my friend. Peyton loved to debate, always participated enthusiastically in class discussions, and was without a doubt the best public speaker of us all. Today, we will attempt to honor him with our stories.
Sorry. I only knew Peyton for about 2 years, since the start of 9th grade, but that doesn't change how close he was with me. My first interaction with him was during freshman orientation, when my friend and I called out... When my friend and I called out to another guy named Peyton, and he kept looking over at us. and I didn't know that his name was Peyton. I thought it was kind of funny. And then when we did an icebreaker, where we took squares of toilet paper and had to state a fact for each roll of toilet paper that we took, and he easily took half of the roll. In addition to classes together, we went to Old Dominion's Model UN conference together, and we shared a room with 2 other people, where he represented the United States in the League of Nations, and where we went to a sushi restaurant with some very interesting names for their sushi, such as the AK-47 roll. We also did mock trial together, and he was unparalleled in making the other side furious with his constant questioning and creativity in his answers. I'm still not even sure how he somehow managed to get the defendant to admit to being at the scene of the crime, or how he was able to have so many memorable and funny one-liners as he did, as he sneakily dodged questions as a witness. These are memories that will last a lifetime. I will always be able to look back on these high school years and remember how much of a positive impact Peyton had on everyone he encountered.
I knew Peyton in 1st grade, but we weren't good friends until about 7th grade. And all I can remember from 7th grade is really how obsessed we were with Russia and the USSR. And then in 9th grade, we were in JS together, and so we had a lot of classes together, and one of them was crafts. And he claimed that crafts was boring, but I remember him laughing and smiling the entire time. And afterward, we would race to English class, and it was always a tie because we ended up talking most of the time. I was also in Model United Nations with him, and I still remember going to the ODU-MUN conference in Norfolk. And at the mall, he tried boba tea, and I think he said it was pretty good. And then he also got a nosebleed, so we had to rush to the nearest security guard and ask where the nearest bathroom was so we could get him something to clean it up. And then one of my fondest memories of him is from the Christmas party, and he was singing an Ariana Grande song, dancing, and he ended up falling backwards onto the floor. Peyton always had a way of making everyone laugh, and I will forever cherish that. So, I met Peyton just 2 years ago, and we were both in GIS together. I remember during freshman introductions, this curly-headed boy, he stood up and he was like, "Hi, my name is Peyton Ham," and then he proceeded to talk about his favorite anime and how he had a wife that he liked. It was really weird, but I immediately knew that we were going to be best friends. And before Peyton, I had never really had just like a simple connection with someone. I had never really clicked with anyone, but as soon as I talked to this guy, he was just talking to me about politics, and he was so passionate, and he expressed his love for law, and I was like, dude, where have you been all my life? Seriously. And he just had a way of just talking, and you were like, no, wait, tell me more. And so when we took the ODU trip together, we made so many memories, and we connected, and our relationship was so much stronger. I remember from him giving me piggybacks to the hallway, because the hallway was super long. I'm super short, mind you. This kid was super tall, and it was terrifying, but it was fun. And from him losing all of his money just so he could get me a stuffed frog because he knew that I love frogs. Sadly, I lost him on the bus that day, but me and Carlos, we had some laughs. Okay, I still cherish both Carlos and Payne in my heart. He always had a way of making you laugh, even if you didn't want to, even if you were in a bad mood. All he had to do was give you this really weird look, and you were out. That was it. He was always he was just there. Whenever you needed him, he was just there, and he always had a way of just making you realize that he was just a good friend. And I will always remember this curly-headed, smiley, funny boy in my heart, and I will never forget him.
Okay, I'm the last one. I'm Sydney. I would just like to address that it is very hot outside, so thank you all for coming. And if you see sweat stains, Trust me, I know they're there. Okay. So as I sat in the back of my pre-calculus class that I shared with Peyton, a man with honestly the best hair I've ever seen. Like, I'm so jealous of his curls. Okay, I digress. He would try to draw a perfect circle with chalk, so like when one hand motion, sort of like this. Unfortunately, he was never successful, but it was inspiring to see him never give up. We will never forget his impact on all of our lives, no matter how long we knew him, whether it was like a week or for his entire life. In class, his desk remained empty for the rest of the year. This worked to preserve his memory and remind us of his unmatched personality and very acquired humor. Like, honestly, sometimes I had no idea what he was talking about, but he was still a funny dude. But I remind, with these fun memories that we're sharing, we would like to express the reason for this rally, which is to urge the state's attorney office to continue investigating the case. We, the GIS class of 23, stand with Peyton, his family, and demand justice for him. Thank you. Justice for Peyton.
Thank you all. Now I'd like to introduce Peyton's Aunt Kelly Rayleigh. She has a poem she would like to read.
Thank you all for coming today. This is a poem I wrote in memory of Peyton. It's titled, "Your Wings Were Ready, But My Heart Was Not." I will never forget that fateful April day. My heart shattered, the pain never going away. Your wings were ready, but my heart was not. I couldn't believe the news of you being shot. My sister called like she would normally do, but this time was different. I felt that come through. She was hysterical, telling me to come quick. Something horrible had happened that would make me sick. I showed up to chaos and yellow tape. How could this be the same house where so many happy memories were made? She tells me the ambulance took you away, but no lights or sirens on that fateful day. On her face was shock and pain. How I wish I could take that away. After hours of waiting to hear some news, we were taken into that little room. I had to catch myself from falling down. Hearing you were gone, I nearly hit the ground. I will never forget my dad saying for the Lord to take him instead. You were only 16 with so much life ahead. We were told it was best not to see you in that way, so we followed that advice and all we could do was pray. Your wings were ready, but my heart was not. How could there have been so many shots? Why wasn't your life given another thought? Love and compassion is what we were taught. Why did he take you away like your life didn't matter? Didn't he know how many hearts it would shatter? Why was your life taken so soon? How could someone take you away from us that dreadful afternoon? I wish I could have taken at least one of those bullets away. I would have traded my life for yours any given day. I often think of how your future would unfold. You were so smart, loving, and just a beautiful soul. It is hard to think or talk about you in past tense. That feeling of sorrow is just too immense. We feel your presence around us all the time. Sometimes you let it be known by leaving us a dime. I know that might not make sense to many, but go look up what it means to find a dime or a penny. The bond between an aunt and nephew is unspoken, a bond that lasts forever, never to be broken. I had a star name for you up in the sky. This gives me something to look to when I ask God why. Although I know you are with us in spirit, how much I long for your voice, just to hear it. You are with the angels now and no longer in pain. We are seeking justice for you, so this never happens again. Your wings were ready, but my heart was not. We love you, Peyton, and we have not forgot. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. I've received something else I've been asked to read. This is from Elfrida Mathis. She's asked me to read this. It's called A Child of Mine. I will lend you for a little time a child of mine, he said, for you to love the while he lives and mourn for when he's dead. It may be 6 or 7 years, or 22 or 3. But will you, till I call him back, take care of him for me? He'll bring his charms to gladden you, and should his stay be brief, you'll have his lovely memories as solace for your grief. I cannot promise he will stay, since all from earth return, but there are lessons taught down there I want this child to learn. I've looked the wide world over in search for teachers true, and from the throngs that crowds life's lanes, I have selected you. Now will you give him all your love, nor think the labor vain, nor hate me when I come to take him home again? I fancied that I heard them say, Dear Lord, thy will be done. For all the joys thy child shall bring, the risk of grief will run. We'll shelter him with tenderness, we'll love him while we may, and for the happiness we've known, forever grateful stay. But should the angels call for him, much sooner than we've planned, we'll brave the bitter grief that comes and try to understand. Now I'd like to invite Peyton's mom, Christy, to come up and say a few words.
Afternoon. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We cannot thank you enough. I want to thank all of you for coming here in support of our family. Peyton is my son, and I, as well as my entire family, miss him dearly. As you know, just over 3 months ago, Peyton was shot and killed by a Maryland State Trooper. Since then, very little information has been shared with us by investigators about what transpired that day. Our hope is that this peaceful gathering today will remind our state's attorney and other elected officials that we are patiently waiting for answers and want to ensure Peyton's case remains in the public eye. 2 weeks ago, we were told to expect a decision within 30 days, and we pray that that will in fact happen. Peyton's family is overflowing with public servants and an enduring sense of duty that compels them to go the extra mile and behave with integrity. We want to make it clear that our family stands proudly behind all levels of public service, especially law enforcement. We are pro-law enforcement, and as such, feel as we as citizens have a duty to ensure our officers are held to the highest standards of conduct, and to speak up when we feel those standards are not being met. Our family is still left wondering what happened on that tragic day of April 13th, 2021. It has been 3 months, and there are many unanswered questions. The only response is that we're unable to answer that at this time, as it is an ongoing investigation. We are unsure of how or why it all started, but we all know how it ended. And we would like answers to questions, such as, how much time elapsed between the officer's first contact with Peyton and the shots? Were de-escalation tactics used by the officer before shots were fired? Did the officer have less lethal options available before escalating to deadly force? How many bullets total were fired from the officer's weapon? Where did they land? How many times was Peyton shot? Why not wait for backup before taking action? What was the justification for the use of deadly force? We have gone as far as submitting the application and $25 check required to obtain a copy of the autopsy from the Office of the State Medical Examiner. The application was denied and returned, citing ongoing investigation. Prior to the first shots being fired, it does not appear there were any witnesses other than Peyton and the state trooper. And according to the state's attorney's office, there is no body or dash camera footage or clear audio information from the onboard dash camera. Nothing. Following the gunshots, there were multiple witnesses, as they were alerted to the commotion just outside of their homes. My parents and sister were able to meet with a representative of the state's attorney's office for St. Mary's County on June 29th, 2021. The representative assured them his office had received all of the evidence from the Maryland State Police and is thoroughly investigating the incident. However, during the meeting, my parents and sister found that he was unaware of several details, which they were able to provide him with. My parents asked if witnesses had been interviewed. The representative responded that he had not talked to any witnesses and stated that if any of the witnesses had something they wanted to talk about, to call his office or come in to add to their statement. He would like to hear from them directly. He said he would make the determination as to whether or not he needed to reach back out to witnesses for a follow-up. I'm not versed in law, but as an average citizen, it strikes me as very strange. Why would the head law enforcement entity and decision maker handling the case of a fatal police shooting wait for witnesses to contact his office instead of actively seeking them out as part of the ongoing investigation? In closing, I want to emphasize that this gathering is meant to encourage our elected officials to uphold the laws of the state of Maryland and to do so with due diligence. We stand with law enforcement. We believe in the justice system and pray it does not let us down. On a personal note, I want to thank everyone who has reached out and provided us support. The love of our family, friends, and community is heartfelt and much appreciated. It lifts us up and helps us endure this difficult and heartbreaking experience. I also want to thank the local chapter of the NAACP, Dr. Janice Walthour and Miss Adrienne Dillahunt here, who have expressed to me that the state president of the NAACP has extended his full support of our case. I'm very proud of the Leonardtown High School Global International Study students, as well as the mock trial team. That's not an easy thing to do. And I did want to say one thing that wasn't planned about the flag that's here. My brothers and sisters at V22, where I work, had this flag flown over the flagpole without me knowing about it at Peyton's student-led memorial service over the Leonardtown High School football stadium. The flag followed us to the Ridge Fire Department where we had Peyton's funeral reception, but it didn't stop there. It flew over the main flagpole at Patuxent River Naval Air Station, and I have a commendation here that I would invite you to look at, signed from the CEO. That's a huge honor. It flew over our hangar one day, and I kind of got wind of what they were doing, and I was really glad because I was able to be out there for morning colors to pay tribute to Peyton. And the big surprise was it accompanied our new CMV-22 in a flight, which was just beautiful. And I have a few pictures of the flag in flight over the Patuxent River. And it also accompanied a friend of mine who's a pilot in the Army on a Homeland Security mission over Washington, D.C. I cannot thank everyone enough. I'm very proud of our community and my family. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Forgot. Another testament to our community. We picked up our yard signs from Hilltop Graphics, paid for them and left, and we received the most touching email. They said, Mr. and Mrs. Boyle, we should not have charged you for these. We want to donate them in Peyton's honor. And that was just incredibly kind. So I want to thank Hilltop Signs and Graphics for that. And my friend at work, Tron, if you want t-shirt services, he made these for us. He has a graphics printing business, as well as my cousin Ashley can put you in touch with her friend that donated, between Ashley and her, all of the Justice for Peyton shirts. So that's incredible. Thank you.
That concludes the speaking part of this, but we encourage you all to hang around. There's plenty of water, there's plenty of shade, there's a little breeze. Please, if come up and greet Christy and Mike and Keith and Brenda and Kelly and the rest of the extended family. It just means so much that you're here. So thanks everybody for coming. Please hang around.
By emailing or calling the state's attorney and asking him what are the next steps, what will be happening, what to acknowledge the family and let them know. So that's putting, as John Lewis says, praying with our feet.
Yeah.
So we ask you to please do that. If I had been prepared, I would have told you the email address, but I'm sure you can find it online. So I'm just really, my heart is full with the support and love that's here today. Now, pray with your feet. Thank you.